So if you could just introduce yourself to the viewers and talk about your role on Beezel.
Sure. I'm Paul Kim. I go by PK. I was a producer for Beezel.
What is Beezel?
So Beezel is a horror anthology, is the best way to describe it. It's a story that takes place in the same house over 6 different decades. But unlike other anthology series, which are really kind of standalone episodes, like a Creep Show or Black Mirror, which are all great, I think Beezel has more of a connective tissue. So all the stories really kind of relate to each other, even though they are very, very different sort of stories that are told.
How many festivals have you been to thus far with Beezel?
So this actually is our second festival and our first international festival. This is our international premiere, so we're really excited about that. Yeah.
And have you been to many UK film festivals in the past?
So interesting question. I have not. This is my first one, but my previous feature film, Val, was part of Grimmfest in 2021. I did not have the chance to make it out for that. So now I'm really, really excited that on the second scary movie, I'm able to finally come out here for the festival.
Brilliant. And again, welcome to Manchester. We're glad to have you.
I'll come back as much as I can.
And just going into more of a kind of filmmakery question. A lot of our followers are people who work who are sort of up and coming in the industry, who maybe do a lot of like low budget stuff, no budget stuff. What advice would you have to aspiring producers, filmmakers who are looking to kind of level up from making shorts to maybe getting their first feature made?
So I think there's a lot of things that are wrapped up in there. I'm trying not to get too long-winded here, but I think that it's important to plan ahead as far as if you're making a short or a feature or a documentary or anything like that. Try to do as much as you can to really, really plan, everything that's going to be involved with the production, which includes pre-production and even thinking about post-production. I think that'll go a long way with overall making sure it's all smooth, because things are ultimately going to go wrong at some point during your production. And that, you just don't know what it's going to be. So the best you can do to prepare to avoid, the situations where you're putting out fires, that's going to be key. That's like the number one thing I would say.
And is horror your main thing? You think that in the future it'll always be horror, or do you think that you'll delve into different genres as well?
Probably delve into other things. It's like I actually wasn't naturally gravitated towards horror. I love all genres, including horror. Poltergeist is probably my favorite horror movie of all time. But I got my start. My first film I ever worked on was a cheerleader movie, actually. It was a little sappy little high school teenager cheerleader movie, and I went from that to Beezel. So go figure. I just love like film in general. So if there's a good project to put my energy behind, I'm going to be involved.
Hello. Welcome to Manchester, firstly. Are you having a good time in Manchester?
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it here. I literally have been here for a day and I don't want to leave. Everyone has been so nice. The food is delicious. The city is beautiful. I wish I could stay like a whole other week, but I leave tomorrow, so.
Oh, that's a shame. What is Beezel?
Beezel is everyone's worst nightmare. Like each person, she's something different, terrifying for them. So she kind of manifests differently for each person and like targets that wound we all have to draw them in, and then they become her food.
Amazing. And what was your experience like making the film and being on set and embodying the character that you were playing?
My experience was amazing. Aaron and Victoria, the filmmakers, make such a supportive environment on set. I felt totally immersed in the world and supported and given all the space and time I needed to prepare and really feel like I'm living the truth of that moment as Naomi, my character. So I'm so grateful to the filmmakers and the crew for that. And I was largely by myself. Most of my scenes are alone, so I had to find different ways to like my scene partner is the tape recorder in this. And then I have Mrs. Weems in other scenes, but mostly I was just really focused on Naomi's journey and telling her story as truthfully as I could.
Brilliant. Great answer. Thank you very much. When you're on set and you're kind of, the subject matter is so dark and some of the scenes are so intense, how do you find kind of, do you think that sticks around in you for long after you've filmed, or are you quite good at shaking off what you've just filmed?
That is such a good question. I feel like we had a really good balance. Like when it was time to film, we were really dropped into that like very dark moment and really holding space for that, and everyone gave me like so much of their energy to hold that, so I felt safe to go there emotionally, but then we also would stay up all morning after our night shoots to laugh and to drink some wine, and so we really found like levity there. There were some parts that were harder to shake off than others, like that crawl space scene. That was tough for me to shake off. I had a good shower, took some deep breaths, and was able to get back. But some moments were more difficult than others, but it all felt right for the film.
Brilliant. And are you a fan of horror films yourself?
I am a huge horror fan. I've seen everything from like the indie low budget to the studio like masterpieces. I do not discriminate. My first horror movie I ever saw was The Grudge when I was 8 years old. So being in one and having it come out on Apple and Prime and be in theaters in LA, coming to Manchester to see it on the big screen is nothing short of a dream come true. My family is so excited because we all bond by watching horror films.
So I'm Nicolas Robin. I'm an actor. I'm French. I know no one's perfect, So I got the script through Aaron, the director. I knew his work for many years. I watched his second feature, Electric Love, that I loved. Very different kind of movie, but really nice. I got the script in January, so 2023. Yeah, and this movie came at the right time because just before that, I had an accident with a horse, and my head was smashed, and I was like in a pretty bad, yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I got the script and I was like, well, this is the right time to get back on a horse. so yeah, no, I did, and I was really comfortable doing that because I knew that Aaron and Victoria and their team would create a safe environment for an actor to really, express himself and explore. Because we explored a lot, in this kind of movie. It's just great, yeah.
So just tell me a little bit about your character and what the experience was like being on set and kind of embodying the role that you were playing.
Yeah. So my character, Lucas, he's coming from Paris. He used to live there with Nova. So they're coming back to the family house where he knew that something was wrong there, like really wrong. He knew about like all the craziness that's inside. And honestly, when you step into the house, when I stepped into the house, immediately I could feel the energy. So it was easy in a way to be involved in his character. And then the team was like pretty small, which means that we had like a lot of time to focus, to prepare, to, and yeah, places like the crawl space or like the closets, the bedroom, everything was like creepy, and the house is U-shaped. So you can totally, especially this scene, with the witch on the other side, you can be at like in a kitchen and then check on the other side, being like, even you as an actor being like, is there something there? So it was easy to really explore and try to create like the best atmosphere for our characters.
So, do you find working on horror films to be like a scary experience, or is there more kind of laughs behind the scenes, or is it a little bit of both?
Well, to be honest, it's been now 2 years that I do not sleep anymore. No, it was fine. I'm just on drugs now. It's it's amazing, you know. This is what we do, right? No, it was really something, you know. Being there, isolated, especially at this time of the year, you know, it was like cloudy, snowy, quiet, windy sometimes. So yeah, that was amazing for us.
And yeah, just the final question for you is, a lot of our audience are people who work in indie film. There's a lot of people who are sort of up and coming filmmakers and actors and directors and things like that. I just wondered what advice you would have for someone who is maybe wanting to do what you do, but they're a little bit behind, like they're a few steps behind. They've just started. They're maybe like, oh, I want to act in movies. I want to act in horror films. What advice would you have to someone who's more or less just starting?
I would say really focus on the craft. Spend a lot of time maybe isolating yourself, especially for horror movies, I think. And I would say also prepare like your scenes in a lot of different ways. Like try this, try that. I really like when people like actors or even like directors or whatever, you know, DP, they try different things. And then you can, it's like a store, you know, you're looking for something and at some point you're like, oh, this is it. This is what I want. And to me, that's the most important advice, I think. Yeah. And don't also never give up. Never give up. You're going to get a lot of no's and it doesn't matter. It's sometimes you're just not at the right time or at the right place, and someone who's not going to see your quality one day and someone else going to see your quality the same day. So just, you know, be confident, work hard, very, very hard, and this is going to work. Yeah.
Amazing. That was a brilliant answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.